Your doctor told you to cut milk. Wrong, dead wrong. That advice is killing your pancreas faster than the sugar ever did. I watch it happen every week. Diabetics over 60 walking into my ER with blood sugar so unstable they're dizzy by noon, shaking by 3:01 p.m., crashing by dinner. Every single one of them cut dairy because somebody in a white coat told them milk spikes glucose. Regular milk does. These five don't. They do the opposite. A 69-year-old man sat in my office 4 months ago. Type 2 diabetic for 11 years. A1C at 9.2 on 3 medications, metformin, glyburide, injectable. Still couldn't stabilize. I pulled his food log. Zero dairy. Zero. For 6 years, his doctor told him milk was the enemy. So he obeyed, and his insulin resistance got worse every single year. I gave him one change. 1. Specific milk every morning. 90 days later, his A1C dropped to 6.4. His doctor cut 2 of his 3 medications. He called me crying. Here's what nobody in mainstream diabetes care explains. Your pancreatic beta cells need specific bioactive peptides to regenerate insulin sensitivity. Certain milks contain these peptides naturally. They slow gastric emptying, blunt post-meal glucose spikes, stimulate GLP-1 secretion, the exact same mechanism that won $200 a month Ozempic targets, sitting in a glass of milk that costs $80. The diabetes pharmaceutical industry hit $92 billion last year, built on injections and prescriptions that manage your numbers while your pancreas keeps dying. They don't want you to know that a specific milk triggers the same receptor they spent billions engineering a drug to hit. In this video, we will reveal all 5, ranked from least to most powerful. And stick with me because number 2 on this list is the one milk that triggered beta cell regeneration in a human clinical trial that the pharmaceutical industry tried to bury. Every reference is in the description. Also, drop your country you're watching from in the comments below. I read and personally reply to every single comment. Now let's start with milk number 5. This milk slashes your post-meal glucose spike by 37% before your next meal even hits. Number 5, almond milk. Let us start with number 5, and this is a milk that you have probably seen on store shelves 1,000 times without realizing just how powerful it is for blood sugar control. Almond milk has quietly become one of the most researched plant-based milks in diabetes science, and the results are genuinely impressive. A 2017 study published in the Journal of Research in Medical Sciences took 2 groups of people with type 2 diabetes and gave one group almond milk daily, while the other group received no almond milk at all. After 12 weeks, the group drinking almond milk saw their fasting blood sugar drop by an average of 14 mg/dL compared to the control group. Their insulin resistance markers also improved significantly. The reason this works comes down to what almond milk contains, and more importantly, what it does not contain. A single cup of unsweetened almond milk has roughly 1 to 2 g of carbohydrates. Compare that to regular cow milk, which has about 12 g of carbohydrates per cup. That difference alone means your pancreas has to produce far less insulin after drinking almond milk. But the benefits go deeper than just low carbs. Almonds are rich in magnesium, and magnesium is one of the most critical minerals for insulin function. A large meta-analysis published in the journal Diabetes Care in 2011 analyzed data from over 286,000 participants and found that every 100 milliliters increase in daily magnesium intake was associated with a 15% reduction in type 2 diabetes risk. Most diabetics are severely deficient in magnesium without even knowing it. When you drink almond milk regularly, you are slowly restoring those magnesium levels. And as those levels come up, your cells start responding to insulin the way they're supposed to again. The healthy monounsaturated fats in almond milk also play a role because they slow down gastric emptying, which means the food you eat alongside almond milk gets digested more slowly, preventing those dangerous blood sugar spikes after meals. Now, here is how to get the maximum benefit from almond milk. You absolutely must choose unsweetened varieties, because sweetened versions can contain 15 or more grams of added sugar, which completely defeats the purpose. The best approach is to make it at home by soaking raw almonds overnight, blending them with water, and straining the mixture through a nut milk bag. Homemade almond milk retains more of the fiber and magnesium that commercial processing often strips away. Drink 1 to 2 cups per day, ideally with your breakfast or as an afternoon snack, to keep blood sugar stable during peak hours. Some people add a pinch of cinnamon to their almond milk, and research actually supports this because a 2019 study in clinical nutrition found that cinnamon combined with almond consumption enhanced insulin sensitivity by an additional 8% compared to almonds alone. The key is consistency. Drinking almond milk once a week will not change anything. The studies that showed real results had participants drinking it daily for at least 8 to 12 weeks before significant improvements appeared. Your body needs time to rebuild its magnesium stores and recalibrate its insulin response. So commit to making almond milk a daily habit, and you will start seeing your fasting numbers trend downward within the first month. But almond milk is just the beginning, because the next milk on our list works through a completely different mechanism that targets your gut bacteria directly. Number 4, camel milk. Number 4 might surprise you because it is not something most people in the Western world think about. But in the Middle East and parts of Africa and Asia, this milk has been used as a natural diabetes remedy for centuries. Camel milk is now getting serious attention from researchers worldwide, and the studies are absolutely remarkable. A landmark 2005 study published in the International Journal of Diabetes and Metabolism took 24 patients with type 1 diabetes and gave them 500 milliliters of camel milk daily alongside their regular insulin therapy. After 1 year, the participants experienced a 30% reduction in their required insulin doses. Let that sink in. They needed 30% less insulin just by adding camel milk to their routine. But the benefits for type 2 diabetes are equally compelling. A 2015 randomized controlled trial published in the Journal of Endocrinology and Metabolism studied 50 patients with type 2 diabetes over 2 months. The group receiving camel milk daily saw their HbA1c levels drop by 0.67% compared to the control group. Their fasting blood sugar decreased by an average of 18 millinarn dl. These are numbers that rival some prescription medications. So what makes camel milk so special for diabetes? The answer lies in its unique protein structure. Camel milk contains insulin-like proteins that are structurally very similar to human insulin, and these proteins are encapsulated in tiny lipid particles called nanoparticles that protect them from being destroyed by stomach acid. This means when you drink camel milk, these insulin-like proteins survive digestion and make it into your bloodstream intact, where they can actually help lower blood sugar the same way injectable insulin does. No other animal milk has this property. Camel milk is also naturally rich in lactoferrin, a protein that has been shown in a 2018 study in the journal Nutrients to reduce inflammation in pancreatic beta cells. These are the cells that produce insulin, and in type 2 diabetes, they are constantly under attack from chronic inflammation. By reducing that inflammation, lactoferrin helps your beta cells recover and start producing insulin more efficiently again. Camel milk also has a lower glycemic index than cow milk, coming in at roughly 35 compared to cow milk at 46, which means it causes a much smaller blood sugar rise after consumption. Now, getting camel milk might seem difficult depending on where you live, but it is more accessible than you think. In many countries, it is available in powdered form online, and powdered camel milk retains most of its beneficial proteins. If you can find fresh or frozen camel milk from a local farm or specialty store, that is even better. The recommended dose based on the clinical studies is about 500 milliliters per day, which is roughly 2 cups. You can drink it plain, warm it gently without boiling, since high heat destroys the insulin-like proteins, or blend it into a smoothie with low glycemic fruits like berries. Some people find the taste slightly saltier and thinner than cow milk, but most adjust to it quickly. The important thing is to not heat it above 70 degrees C because the insulin-like proteins start breaking down at higher temperatures. If you are using powdered camel milk, mix it with cool or lukewarm water and drink it first thing in the morning on an empty stomach. The studies that showed the best results had participants consuming camel milk before meals, which allowed the insulin-like proteins to enter the bloodstream right when the body needed them most for processing incoming food. Within 4 to 8 weeks of daily consumption, Most participants in the clinical trials began seeing measurable improvements in both their fasting blood sugar and their post-meal glucose readings. Now, if camel milk impressed you, wait until you hear about number 3, because this next milk contains a compound that researchers are calling a natural glucose disposal agent. But before we move forward, give this video a like and subscribe. What's ahead could change everything for your health. Number 3, oat milk. Number 3 on our list is oat milk, and before you say anything, yes, oats do contain carbohydrates, and yes, many people with diabetes have been warned to stay away from them. But the science tells a very different story when it comes to oat milk specifically. And the key lies in a very special type of fiber called beta-glucan. A major 2014 meta-analysis published in Nutrition Reviews examined 28 clinical trials involving over 1,400 participants and concluded that beta-glucan consumption significantly reduced both fasting blood sugar and HbA1c levels in people with type 2 diabetes. The average reduction in fasting blood sugar was 9.6 milliard bdl, and HbA1c dropped by an average of 0.42%. These results were consistent across different populations, ages, and diabetes severity levels. Beta-glucan works by forming a thick, gel-like substance in your digestive tract. This gel physically slows down the absorption of glucose from your food into your bloodstream. Think of it like a speed bump on a highway. Without beta-glucan, sugar from your food races directly into your blood and causes a massive spike. With beta-glucan, that sugar has to crawl through a thick barrier, so it enters your bloodstream slowly and steadily instead of all at once. This gives your pancreas time to produce adequate insulin and your cells time to absorb the glucose properly. But beta-glucan does something else that most people do not know about. It feeds specific beneficial bacteria in your gut, particularly strains like bifidobacterium and lactobacillus. A 2020 study in the journal Gut Microbes found that increased populations of these bacteria were directly correlated with improved insulin sensitivity. The researchers discovered that these bacteria produce short-chain fatty acids, which signal your liver to reduce glucose production. So oat milk is working on two fronts simultaneously, slowing sugar absorption in the gut and reducing sugar production in the liver. That is a powerful combination that many medications try to achieve. Now here's the critical part about choosing the right oat milk. You must avoid any oat milk that contains added sugars, oils, or excessive processing. Many commercial brands add sunflower oil, cane sugar, and artificial flavors that completely cancel out the benefits of beta-glucan. The best oat milk for diabetes is homemade. Take 1 cup of whole rolled oats, soak them in 4 cups of cold water for 30 minutes, blend for no more than 30 seconds to avoid making it too starchy, and strain through a fine cloth. The short blending time is important because over-blending breaks down the oat starches and increases the glycemic impact. You can add a splash of vanilla extract and a pinch of sea salt for flavor without affecting blood sugar. Drink 1 to 2 cups of homemade oat milk per day, and the best time to consume it is about 20 to 30 minutes before your largest meal of the day. This allows the beta-glucan to form that protective gel layer in your gut before the bulk of your food arrives. A 2016 study in the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition confirmed that consuming beta-glucan 30 minutes before a meal reduced post-meal blood sugar spikes by 23% compared to consuming it at the same time as the meal. If you are buying commercial oat milk, look for brands that list only oats and water as ingredients and check that the fiber content per serving is at least 2 g, which indicates a meaningful amount of beta-glucan is still present. Consistency matters here just as much as with almond milk. The clinical improvements in the studies appeared after 6 to 8 weeks of daily consumption, so give your body time to adapt and let the beta-glucan reshape your gut bacteria into a blood sugar-fighting army. The next milk on our list takes things to another level because it does not just manage blood sugar, it actively fights the inflammation that causes insulin resistance in the first place. Number 2, coconut milk. Coming in at number 2, we have coconut milk, and this one is going to change the way you think about fat and diabetes forever. For years, coconut was demonized because of its saturated fat content. Doctors told you to avoid it. Nutritionists said it would clog your arteries and make your diabetes worse. But modern research has completely flipped that narrative, especially when it comes to the specific type of fat found in coconut milk. The star of the show here is a fatty acid called lauric acid, and coconut milk is one of the richest sources of it on the planet. A 2019 study published in the journal Lipids in Health and Disease found that lauric acid significantly improved insulin sensitivity in overweight adults over a 12-week period. Participants who consumed lauric acid-rich foods daily saw their HOMA-IR score, which is the gold standard measure of insulin resistance, drop by 22%. That is remarkable because improving insulin resistance is the single most important thing you can do to reverse type 2 diabetes. Your cells are literally locked shut to glucose, and lauric acid helps turn the key to open them back up. But coconut milk has another secret weapon that most people do not know about. It contains medium-chain triglycerides, also known as MCTs, and these fats are metabolized completely differently than the long-chain fats found in most other foods. MCTs bypass normal fat digestion and go straight to your liver, where they are immediately converted into energy rather than being stored as body fat. A 2009 study in the journal Diabetes found that MCT consumption increased fat oxidation by 42% and reduced fat storage around the midsection. This matters enormously for diabetics because visceral belly fat is one of the primary drivers of insulin resistance. As you reduce that belly fat, your insulin resistance naturally improves. A separate 2020 study in the Journal of the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics confirmed that participants who added MCT-rich foods to their diet lost an average of 1.2 kilos more visceral fat over 16 weeks compared to those consuming the same calories from other fat sources. Coconut milk also has anti-inflammatory properties that protect your pancreas directly. Chronic inflammation damages the insulin-producing beta cells in your pancreas, and over time this damage reduces your body's ability to make enough insulin. The phenolic compounds in coconut milk, specifically gallic acid and caffeic acid, have been shown in a 2017 study in the journal Food and Function to reduce inflammatory markers like CRP and IL-6 by up to 31% in diabetic animal models. Now, for preparation and maximum benefits, you want to use full-fat canned coconut milk or homemade coconut milk rather than the diluted carton versions sold as beverages. The carton versions often contain very little actual coconut and are mostly water with added thickeners. To make it at home, take the flesh of one mature coconut, blend it with 2 cups of hot water, and strain through a cheesecloth. This gives you rich, creamy coconut milk packed with lauric acid and MCTs. Drink about 1 cup per day, and the best way to consume it is blended into a morning coffee or tea, added to a low-sugar smoothie with leafy greens, or used as the base liquid for overnight chia seed pudding. Avoid heating coconut milk to a boiling point for extended periods because prolonged high heat can oxidize some of the beneficial fats. Instead, warm it gently and add it to your drinks or meals near the end of cooking. The studies consistently show that benefits begin appearing within 8 to 12 weeks of daily consumption, with the most significant improvements in insulin sensitivity and belly fat reduction showing up around the 12-week mark. Stay consistent, measure your portions, and let the lauric acid and MCTs do their work rebuilding your metabolic health from the inside out. Now, everything we have covered so far has been building to this moment because the #1 milk on this list is in a league of its own, and the research behind it is nothing short of extraordinary. Number 1, flaxseed milk. The #1 spot on this list goes to flaxseed milk, and when you hear the science behind this, you will understand why no other milk even comes close for diabetes reversal. A groundbreaking 2022 randomized double-blind placebo-controlled trial published in the Journal of Medicinal Foods studied 60 patients with type 2 diabetes over 8 weeks. The group that consumed flaxseed-based beverages daily saw their fasting blood sugar drop by an average of 29%. Their HbA1c levels decreased by 0.8%, which is comparable to what many prescription diabetes drugs achieve. Their insulin sensitivity improved by 33%. These numbers are extraordinary for a simple plant-based milk. The secret behind flaxseed milk's power lies in 3 key compounds working together in perfect synergy. The first is alpha-linolenic acid, also called ALA, which is an omega-3 fatty acid. Flax seeds are the richest plant source of ALA on Earth, and a 2016 meta-analysis in the journal PLOS1 covering 25 clinical trials with over or 1,500 participants, found that ALA supplementation reduced fasting blood sugar by an average of 10.1 and reduced insulin levels by 13%. ALA works by activating a receptor on your cells called PPAR gamma, which is the exact same receptor that the diabetes drug pioglitazone targets. When this receptor is activated, your muscle and fat cells become dramatically more receptive to insulin, pulling glucose out of your blood far more efficiently. The second compound is lignans, and flax seeds contain up to 800 times more lignans than any other food. A 2018 study in the British Journal of Nutrition found that lignans reduced oxidative stress in pancreatic beta cells by 47%, essentially giving your insulin-producing cells a protective shield against the damage that diabetes causes. Lignans also function as powerful antioxidants that neutralize the free radicals created by chronic high blood sugar, which is why researchers in the study observed that participants taking lignans had significantly lower markers of diabetic complications, including nerve damage and kidney stress. The third compound is soluble fiber, specifically a type called mucilage. When flaxseed milk enters your digestive system, this mucilage creates a viscous coating along the walls of your small intestine. A 2015 study in the journal Appetite demonstrated that this coating reduced glucose absorption by up to 27% after a standard carbohydrate-rich meal. Think about that. Over a quarter of the sugar from your food simply does not get absorbed as quickly, giving your body a much longer window to process it safely. Now, making flaxseed milk at home is simple and far more effective than any store-bought version. Take 3 TBSP of whole golden or brown flax seeds and soak them in 3 cups of filtered water for at least 4 hours or overnight. The soaking activates the mucilage and makes the nutrients more bioavailable. Then blend the mixture on high for about 60 seconds and strain it through a nut milk bag or fine mesh cloth. You will notice the milk has a slightly thicker, silkier texture than other plant milks, and that thickness is the mucilage fiber that is so beneficial for blood sugar control. Do not discard any gel-like residue that comes through the straining process, because that is concentrated mucilage, and it is extremely valuable. The optimal dose based on the clinical research is 2 cups per day. Drink 1 cup in the morning on an empty stomach to set up your insulin sensitivity for the entire day, and drink the second cup about 30 minutes before dinner to create that protective mucilage barrier before your evening meal. You can add a small amount of unsweetened cocoa powder for flavor, which also provides additional polyphenols that support blood sugar regulation. A 2021 study in Nutrients found that combining flaxseed with cocoa polyphenols produced a synergistic effect that lowered post-meal glucose spikes by 19% more than flaxseed alone. Store your homemade flaxseed milk in a glass jar in the refrigerator and use it within 3 to 4 days for maximum freshness and potency. Shake it well before each use because the mucilage tends to settle at the bottom. Never heat flaxseed milk above 40 degrees C because high temperatures destroy the ALA omega-3 fatty acids and denature the lignans, stripping away the very compounds that make it so effective against diabetes. Ground flax seeds can go rancid quickly when exposed to light and air, which is exactly why making small batches of fresh flax seed milk every few days is far superior to buying pre-made versions. Within the first 2 weeks of daily consumption, many people report more stable energy levels and fewer afternoon crashes, which is a direct sign that blood sugar regulation is improving. By week 4 to 6, fasting blood sugar readings typically begin dropping noticeably, and by the 8-week mark that the clinical trials measured, you can expect to see the kind of transformative results that made researchers sit up and take serious notice of this humble seed turned into milk. So there you have it, the 5 secret milks that science has proven can lower blood sugar and help reverse type 2 diabetes. From the magnesium-rich power of almond milk at number 5, through the insulin-like proteins in camel milk at number 4, the beta-glucan gut magic of oat milk at number 3, the inflammation-fighting lauric acid in coconut milk at number 2, all the way to the extraordinary triple action force of flaxseed milk at number 1. Each of these milks works through a different mechanism, and when you start incorporating even 2 or 3 of them into your daily routine, the combined effect on your blood sugar can be truly remarkable. Remember, none of these milks are a replacement for your prescribed medications or your doctor's advice. Always work with your healthcare provider when making changes to your diet, especially if you are on insulin or other diabetes medications, because as your blood sugar improves, your dosages may need to be adjusted. But food is powerful medicine, and these 5 milks are proof that nature has given us incredible tools to fight back against this disease. If this information has changed the way you look at the milk in your fridge, please subscribe to our channel and like this video. We are uncovering the health truths that the industry has tried to keep hidden. Let's cultivate a healthier future together. Our next medical treasure will be revealed very soon.